So as I promised, we're going to do a little something for our junk journals. And then I'm going to teach you how to bind multiple size papers like I have in this journal. Lots of different sizes, big ones, little ones. And then we're going to do a glue binding. So here we go. A lot to do, a lot to get to. So I'm going to start with the project for our junk journal. And that is going to be a pocket, much like this one. So this is a pocket made out of a book page, and that can glue into the junk journal. So first of all, I'm just going to pick a page that I want this to be on. Maybe not the first couple, but maybe here. I don't really want to cover that up. So maybe here. Yep. Okay. Let me do it right there. So I'm just going to cover it in glue, and then I'm going to show how to make it. They're kind of cool because you can keep little things in there, little stickers, little fussy cuts that you make. Okay, so that's right there. And I've got a little flower in my pocket. Okay, how did I make it? So I've got a book page here, and you want to think about the direction of your text. So I want my text to be facing like I could read it, facing up. So this page is going to go right to the top. I'm going to connect both corners just like that. Give it a fold. And then I'm going to fold in half, just like this. Connect all your corners. And I have a book page, but I coffee stained it, so that's why it looks nice and aged. It was pretty aged to begin with, but now it's even more. Okay, and then I'm gonna, so look, see, I'm not quite matched up, not good. It shows if you don't. So let me just refold. Okay, refold better. Okay, now I'm folded in half, and I'm gonna fold this down just like that. Easy peasy. Okay, now the gluing. So for the gluing, I'm going to glue this down just like that. And I've got two flaps, so I need to glue them both. And now this one, I've got my glitter glue with a tiny nozzle on the top. And now I'm going to glue the side and the bottom, and that's going to glue over. Make sure you stay on the edge so that you don't glue the whole thing closed. And then I'm going to glue the inside of this right along the top. Well, that's the side, along the top. Maybe a little bit on the inside. Okay, that's my pocket. And I can store stuff like that in there. And let's see, where do I want to put it in my journal? Let me go ahead and find a place for it. Maybe on the other side. I like that. Okay, I'm going to put it on the other side. It's decided. Okay, just like that, like that, like that. Okay, now I've got two pockets. Okay, I probably want something bigger for that pocket, but I'll put that in there for now. Oh, it's a little bit crooked. Let me just reset. Okay, there we go. Okay, pretty cool. a pocket on each page. All right, so that's the junk journal for today. Now, binding all different size of papers. So let's do that. I've got these big ones, and then I'm going to do this small one just so that you can see. Okay. So you could do this with a junk journal. You could do this with regular pages. Okay, so that's going to go there. So what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm going to pin my big pages together so that they don't move around. I'm putting a paper clip to keep them together. And my little one, I'm just going to have to hold. The other thing that you can do if you want to hold your smaller pages, they make a glue stick that is called a repositional glue stick. And what that means is that when you glue things down, you're able to pick it up and move it. So let's just say you didn't want to bother trying to hold this. I could glue it down with a repositional glue stick, and then I could bring it back up when I wanted to. So that would have worked for me today, except I left it at home. That's okay. I'll use my fingers. So what am I going to do? Remember even numbers. I am going to take my ruler and I am going to position it just off the center of my pages. And I want 8 even spaces. So if I look at my ruler, I see I can get 8 spaces on here. So I've got an inch this way, so I'm going to position it an inch from the end, and that gives me pretty much an inch from the bottom. And that gives me 8. So right in the center, I'm going to mark my 8 spaces. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so they're all in the center. I'm going to bring this close. Hopefully you can see it. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera just a little bit so it's a little more even. Okay, now I need something to punch holes. I need a needle, and I need my linen thread. Let me let in a few late people. Okay, so I'm going to count up 1, the length of my page. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to add just a little bit extra, not a lot extra, just a little bit. Now, if you don't have a needle with a big enough head, you don't have a bookbinding needle, you could use a regular needle, and if it's waxed, you could kind of press it. And if you press it, it goes really flat, and you should be able to get it through the needle. You could also kind of put it at the head of the needle and get another needle to poke it through. And now that I say that, I'm going to just, speaking of needles, it's important with this glitter glue that you always put the needle back in so it doesn't dry up. Okay, back to regular programming. Okay, I'm going to put my needle in. Now, this needle has a really big post on it. I don't recommend that. I'm using my kids' needle because I could not find my regular bookbinding needle. I might have taken it home by accident. So just ignore the big holes. All right, I'm going to go in these holes, poke a hole, 8 holes. 1, 2. Well, it's kind of good that they're big because then you can really see them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops. Oh, I got off on that one. Oh, well. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go in through the bottom. This is a very easy binding stitch in through the bottom. Back through just every other hole. In and out, in and out. Every other. In. Try to catch your string so it doesn't get tangled. So I know that I need to go through every hole at this point. Every hole. Let me bring it up so you can see. Okay. Do this one. Through again. Back in. And then I'm sure by now you've figured out what we're going to do. Now that I'm at the top, I'm going to just retrace my steps. So there is no thread here. So from the top into this hole, because we should see thread all throughout. So now I'm going to go in through from the back, in through this hole. And what happens when you use this binding stitch is you catch all the papers. You get all of them. So there isn't any paper that hasn't been bounded. And I'm just going through and tightening the strings a bit. And through this hole. Through that one. We're almost there. Through this one. There. Now I'm just going to give everything a tug. Make sure it feels tight. I'm going to give this bottom string just a little tug. This top string just a little tug. And I'm going to check the back, make sure there's nothing loose. I don't see anything loose. So now I can get rid of my needle. I'm going to shorten my thread just a little. I'm going to tie it off. So now I can tie right here. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. Now what's one thing you can do when you get to this point and you're tying it off, one kind of really fun thing you can do is add some beads. Make this string really long and just add some beads that could kind of hang down from this and hang down out of your book. That's a fun thing to do. Okay, paper clips off, and that is a binding. That's a weave stitch. And that stitch will allow you to have all different sizes of papers on the inside because you'll catch them with 2 or 3 stitches. Okay, there we go. Now moving on to something that I'm very excited about, and that's making our own watercolor journal. So I have my watercolor pages, some binder clips. There's my binder clips. There's my watercolor pages. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I've got a cover for my watercolor journal. So now, next thing, I need some glue, and hopefully you already have your pages folded as per the directions on the website, and some cardboard. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a cardboard and tuck it in to each page. So just like that. Each page gets a cardboard. I'm using chipboard. So chipboard is like cereal box, packaging cardboard. And every page, every signature gets one piece of chipboard. And it's important. You do need the chipboard. You can't really do this without it. I mean, you could, but it won't be as sturdy if you do. Cardboard's not going to stay. It's just to help us bind. Let me make sure I'm on camera. Pull up a bit. Okay. Am I missing a cardboard? Maybe. Let me grab one more. Missed a cardboard. How? I don't know. I'm just going to cut one real quick. Okay. And cardboard. Okay. Now, this is really important. You want to tap these down so that that cardboard is really down in there. Press it, tap it, and then you want to make sure that your sides are even. Make sure that you're even all the way around. Check here. Make sure they're even there. Squeeze them together. Check. And just tap them down. Okay. When they're down, double check that your sides are even. And now you're going to bind them. So I'm going to put a binder clip. Let's do this one. I'm going to put a binder clip on the side. Now I'm going to put a binder clip on this side. And I feel like a few of these are too long, so I'm just going to trim these a little bit so they don't get in the way of my binder clip. Okay. Binder clip here. And I'm looking. The only place that is a little loose is right here. So I'm going to put a binder clip right there, but I'm not putting it all the way down. So here we go. So this binder clip, let me show you from the side. It's just barely on there because I want to be able to get to the whole binding here. I want to have access to that entire binding. Okay, so my binder clip is kind of like barely on there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and you want good glue. You want a PVA glue, something that's really going to stick to the paper. And you're just going to go along at the binding. Don't get your cardboard. Don't get your cardboard in there. And you can use a brush. I'm going to use my finger. I feel more confident with my finger. I feel like I can tell that it's on the binding. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go here. I'm going to take my finger, go along. And I can still see, if you look at it, you'll be able to see little holes where you didn't get the glue. So just add more. And there will be a point where you will no longer see holes because you've gotten a nice coating of glue. I think I'm there. I see one little hole right here. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to do the other side again. I see a couple of holes here. I'm going to go through with my finger again. Okay, I don't see any holes, but now that I've gotten both the sides, and just check, try to not get any here on the sides. If you do, wipe it off. Just double check. I feel there's a little bit here, so I'm going to take that off. Yep, I'm going to come down just a little bit. Yeah, there was a little bit of glue there. Let me just re-glue this one more time. Since I moved the binder clip. Okay. Now, I'm going to move the center clip so that I can get that part that doesn't have any glue right here. Little hole right there. Okay, I'm going to take my napkin, wipe off any glue that might be on the side. My clip back. Okay. Double checking. I see, all right, I'm going to come down this way because I see a couple little holes there. You just have to really keep checking and watching. Move down the other way now. Yeah, a little bit more here. Okay. There. And I'm going to let that dry just a bit. It's looking good. And now let's just look at the cover for a second. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to give my glue just a little bit of time to set up. I want to talk about the cover. I'm using cardstock here for the cover, and you can see that I've left some allowance here in the middle. So what I did was I measured from the top to the bottom, which was that was 3.5 inches. But from the top to the bottom, not including the fold, I have 3 3/4 inches on this side and oh wait, where's my one? Here's my one. And 3 3/4 inches on that side. And then the center of the spine is a little less than 1/2 inch. So I measured that way, made a mark. Let me just show you. I measured this way. I made a mark with my pencil so that I knew where to fold. And then I folded my paper here, gave it a crisp press with the bone folder here, and measured 1/2 inch here, made a mark. But what I did was I measured from this end to the center. So measured from here to the center, made a mark, and then again set my ruler there. It's good to have a nice sturdy ruler to do this. And then pressed, gave it a fold with the bone folder, because if this section is a little bit bigger, it won't make a big difference. It won't matter. So if I need an allowance, I'd rather have it here than have one of my ends be wonky, you know, kind of sticking out or shorter, so that that little bit of room in there allows for allowance here. So when this dries, you're going to be able to again put a nice coat of glue here, taking out the cardboard. You're going to, let's just go through step by step. When this dries, you're going to remove the clips. You're going to remove the cardboard. You're going to remove everything, and then you're going to reapply the glue. You're going to press it into your cover, and you're going to let it dry. I can't do that today because my glue needs to set up here. So I can demonstrate that next week when the glue binding has dried. So this can set off to the side. And then I wanted to just show you a couple of things that I do to age my papers. And one of them is a wonderful thing called, let me just set this way over because I don't want to get any ink on it. But I have a wonderful material, and it's called walnut ink. I really do love it. So walnut ink kind of gives your paper a very aged look. So I'm going to do it with this page. I'm going to do the front. Little bit of ink, let it dry, flip it over. And here I've done some coffee stain, but I'm just going to put a little bit of walnut ink. Lovely. I'll let it dry a bit. I can also give it a press. Just give it a press. Oh, I wonder if it'll make a print. Let's see. Let's just see. Look at that. It did. How cool. Okay, so that's another thing. You could press it on another piece of paper and you've got a print. Okay, now let's make a little mini pocket. All right, so up, up, and half. This is an aged pocket. Oh, look at that. So see what happens if you don't get the fold just perfect. It's a little bit crooked there. So what I can do, because I think it's the way the page is cut and not because of the folding, I'm just going to trim that off and bring this here and fold and this down. Look how cool that looks. Now, something is happening here. And it's really sad. And this happens with old book pages. So let me just show you a way around it. If I unfold this and show you what's happening to this old book page, the fibers are tearing and it's making like tear marks here. How can I avoid that? I could take clear gesso, and if I know where the fold is going to be, I could cover the whole thing. But if I know where the fold's going to be, I could kind of reinforce those folds with the clear gesso. And if I do that, the paper is not going to rip. So that's a fix for that. So here we go. Here's my pocket again. And now it's time to glue. Look, I remembered to put the pin in. I did not forget this time. So across and then down here and press. Then I'm going to glue the flaps. So down. Down. Go. Using my napkin to wipe off any extra glue. And then I'm going to just, I mean, I could have, look at this, I could have like a tri-fold. I like that. Very nice. Okay, so let me have a tri-fold. That's different. See what happens when you play around with these? Come up with all kinds of things. Okay. Pretty cool. Now I'm just going to do this little bit of the side here. And there I go. Okay, so now I've got a third pocket. Let me get my junk journal. And let's see, can I have more than one pocket on this page? I can. I can have one right there. So there we go. Another pocket. You know what? Let me show you something else. There's another way you can put in a pocket. Let me wipe off this glue. Just show you an alternative. So here's the thing. I'm obsessed by washi tapes, but I never feel like I want to use them. They just feel kind of scrapbooky to me. So I'm never real thrilled about using them, but I just thought of something. I could create a binding or a hinge. So I'm going to cut a piece of this washi tape and just see. Maybe I'm not thinking about this the right way, but let's just see. In fact, I think I gave all my washi tape to Saba because I just couldn't see myself with it. Okay, so if I put my washi tape here on the back and then put it, let's move this guy to here. Okay. I could make a hinge. Yay, it works. So look, I've got a pocket with a hinge. There we go. That's something you can do with your washi tapes. You can make a hinge for your pocket. That way you can fold back your pocket. And if I do that, maybe I want to even make one of these and put one on the back of this. That's kind of fun. I like the idea of doing that. Okay, let's see. I need another book page. Don't you love how it just disappeared? Okay, so here we go. I'm going to trim it because I just had the idea of the double pocket. Maybe I'm getting a little obsessed with the whole pocket thing, but it's a junk journal. I like to collect stuff. I like to have places to put my fussy cuts. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same size. I think it's going to be pretty close. Okay, so here we go. I guess I better antique this since I did the other one. So I'm going to show another way to antique your pages in case you don't want a walnut stain, and in case, like me, thanks to Carmen, you have lots of inks to choose from. Every time I use them, Carmen, I think about you and I'm grateful to you. Let me find the right one. I want something that's going to look antique-y. Really? Maybe I want something that looks kind of aged. Let's see. Or maybe I want color. Oh, okay. Let's try a color. I don't really see an antique one. All right, let's try a color. Okay, here we go. The other thing to do with your stamps. Okay, so I'm going to fold it up. Match your corners. Don't go wonky like I did. Bone folder. And fold over. And fold down. Oh, you know what I need? I need the inking thing. I need that little inking stick that Carmen got from me. I don't know what I did with it, but all right, let me just try the ink pad. So, you know the other thing, do you know what I did with the corner rounder? Let's see. If you have a corner rounder, what you can do, I don't know how this is going to work. Let's see. I'm going to try it. I'm going to round that corner and I'm going to round this corner. Should look okay. Okay, so now I have two corners rounded, but these are not rounded. Let's see. Let's just try it. Okay. And you can also do this by hand. You can also take your scissors and just round them. Okay, so first I'm going to glue. No, let me ink first. Okay, so I'm just going to ink the sides. Just ink all around the edge. Oh, I like that. I'm going to ink around this edge so that you really see it. And on this side. Okay, now you really see the pocket. Let me ink here. Dauber, is that what they call the inking thing? The dauber? Maybe. I'll find out. Okay, now glue. Okay, so gluing. Gluing here. Gluing that down. Gluing the little flap down. And then gluing the side. And the bottom. And then the inside part that wants to come apart, I'm going to glue that along the edge, along the top. And don't forget the napkin. Take off any extra glue. Okay, now I've got a double pocket. Pretty cool. Okay, so let's get the glue going. Hey, awesome, double pocket. So it hinges over, it folds. Okay, pin back in my glue. On pin. Okay, 3 projects in the can. Hi, thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that brief class on art journal practice. If you'd like to join me live, we meet every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Zoom, and the details are on the Yonkers Public Library calendar. You'll just go to the Wednesday, look up 4 p.m., and all the details will be there. So I hope to see you live.